Hey guys, my name is Divya. I'm a doctor and I'm PgMP certified. I've been doing a series of videos on my channel to help everybody in the PgMP community get on with their PgMP application and certification. So my previous video, guys, was all about how to fill out the dreaded PgMP application, and today I just want to discuss 10 tips and tricks for the PgMP application. So let's get right into the video. My tip number 1, guys. Please ensure that you do your PgMP application in a Word document or any other text editor. So as you saw in the previous video, I will leave it in the description box below. There'll be a link to my previous video. You've seen that there are many strategies, many essays, many experience summaries to be written. So if you have a text editor or Word document open on the side where you're writing down all your essays, editing them and keeping track of the word count, it's obviously going to help you a lot. You will have to revisit and edit your application many times, so please ensure that you do that. My tip number 2, guys, please give yourself 3 to 4 weeks for the PgMP application. It's a long, lengthy, laborious application. You're going to have to document things from at least 8 years ago. That's a lot of documentation. More than likely, it will extend beyond 8 years because everything that you've done in the last 8 years may or may not count. If it does, great. If it doesn't, go back past beyond 8 years up until 15 years. You can document your project and program management experience for the last 15 years. Ensure you get that onto the application. Ensure you're eligible and go right for it. My tip number 3, guys, please ensure that you review your application before submitting it. It sounds like common sense, sounds so obvious, but guys, since I told you that give yourself 3 to 4 weeks to do the application, there's no way to do it in one sitting. There's no way to read it all in one sitting. Review it in bits and pieces before submitting it. My own application took me about 3 to 4 weeks, almost 4 weeks before I submitted it. So ensure that you have all that done, reviewing is done before you submit it. Tip number 4. While answering the experience summaries, the questions where they give you the options, option A or B, and you have to pick one, ensure that you write your role and what all you have done. You want to use maximum I statements instead of we statements. Don't say my team did this and all of us got together and do that. Ensure that you elaborate on your role and what all you have done to ensure that this particular program was successful. PMI wants to know how you are the program manager, how you are the leader, and you've ensured that you went along all the way. My tip number 5, guys. While you're writing the strategy for every single program that you've been at, ensure that you can write how this was in line with the organizational's objectives, the vision and the mission. So PMI wants to know that every time you have a program or you're leading a program, you know that you have a certain vision and that team objectives, program objectives are in sync with the org objectives. Because if we don't have that, then there's really no point of the program. We have to ensure that we are going for some kind of growth, some kind of big things, and that achievement has to be in sync with everything else around us. My tip number 6. Read the standard. This really is an important tip, and it was given by one of the guys. His name is Harish. Given by one of the guys and who told me that your thinking has to be in line with PMI's thinking. So if you read the PgMP standard before you start writing all your strategies and experience summaries, it's going to really help, guys. Keep in mind that you don't want to sound bookish. You don't want to sound like you memorized the entire standard and regurgitated it on the application. So PMI is smart that way. They're going to reject it outright. Don't do that. Keep in mind your own program. Keep in mind your own words. But I think reading the standard just helps you know what certain terms really mean to PMI. What does benefits realization mean? What do your stakeholders mean? Yes, we know that in day-to-day language, but we also have to know the PMI way before we write out all our experience summaries. My tip number 7, guys, please be honest on your application. Document everything that you have honestly. because it just serves for good reading and, to be honest and be a good program manager, all our ethics have to be in place. So ensure honesty, ensure that you have the right dates, the right places, the right orgs, the right contacts in line while you're submitting your application. My tip number 8, guys, document the fewest strategies possible. So what do I really mean by this? I alluded towards it in my previous video. Document the number of programs that you absolutely need to take into account the number of hours and the number of months needed to be eligible for this particular exam and certification. So this is easy, guys. If you can achieve the required hours and months for eligibility for this particular exam in 4 programs, then document only 4. If you can do it in 3 or 2, document only 3 or 2. The reason I say that is that the more number of programs that you document, the more number of strategies you'd have to write and elaborate on. Again, be honest. Don't have to twist anything. Don't have to twist the dates and all that. I'm not at all recommending that. But I'm just saying, if you were running multiple programs, then the fewer that you write, the fewer that you have to write about. So keep that in mind and that will help you. In my particular case, I did have to document 5 programs, which means I wrote 5 strategies and 5 experience summaries. If you can do your entire worth hours, eligible hours in 1 program, you'd have to write 1 strategy. Think about it and then document everything that you have to on this particular application. My tip number 9, guys, keep your resume with you while filling out the PgMP application. So the reasoning behind this is very, very simple. You're documenting hours from at least 8 years ago, maybe more. So keeping that resume really helps you. It jogs your memory, it keeps the dates correct, and it also gives you an idea of which contact information you want to put down in the application for the different projects and the different programs. Overall, keeping your resume open while you're doing all this will help you. It gives you bits and pieces of information that you'd forgotten. It's been a long, long career journey, so keep in mind your resume and all the details in it. My tip number 10, guys, if your application gets rejected the first time and gets sent back, please do not fret over it. It did happen to me. In fact, it happened to me twice. My application was sent back twice. Why it was rejected wasn't really clear to me, because I don't think that the way PMI explains it to you in terms of rejection isn't very clear. They sort of just send it back and you have to review multiple things and just go over it, use creative imagination and then resubmit it. Don't fret over this. Happens to anyone and everyone. Just be at it, keep your perseverance up and then resubmit your application. My tip number 11, guys, if you need application help, there are people who provide application help and it's usually a paid service. You can go for this. Yes, I also took help for my application. It was a paid service by Dharam Singh. I contacted him, told him my application had been rejected twice. He went over it and suggested minor edits. This was a paid service and then I was able to resubmit my application. I will leave Dharam's website below in the description box so that you can also contact him. There are obviously others who provide application help. Harish is one of them. There are others again in the market. This is not a sponsored video, guys. Please do your own research and see who you'd like to go with, if at all, for the application help, and definitely try it out at least once in terms of application submission. So all in all, these were my 10 tips and 1 bonus tip for your PgMP application. I do hope that my videos are helping you. If they are, please give these videos a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.